Silver! Away! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion, Tonto, the masked rider of the plains fought crime and criminals through the length and breadth of 7 states. His courage and resourcefulness made him the greatest champion of justice the West ever knew, and the stories of his adventures have come down through the generations. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear, when adventure lay at the end of every trail. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. Come on, Silver! Jim Courtney and Pike are riding together. There's going to be trouble. Hi-yo, Silver! Away! The sun had set, and the rangeland was shrouded in darkness. In the modest Powers ranch, an oil lamp set a cheery glow over the supper table. As Dan and his wife sat down...
Gosh, honey, but I sure am hungry. You fill my plate a heaping, doggone it, or you're going to have a starving man on your hands. Say, well, that's Tommy. That young ain't often late to his meals.
I called to him twice, but land sakes, I can't be hollering at him all the time. He knows when it's time to eat, and if he can't come without being fetched, why, he can just go hungry.
Likely can't get himself away from the corral. He's in a bad fix. Getting old enough so he can't make up his mind which he likes best, eating or horses.
Dan, he's never been this late before. Maybe I'd better go and see if I can...
What the?
That's Tommy.
Doggone. You stay there, Bess.
My boy.
Hold on. Come back here. Hold on.
What is it, Dan?
You stay there, I tell you. I'm saddling up and following. Blaze. Here, Blaze. Oh, my saddle. I was forgetting. I'll have to go to the barn for it.
Oh, up there, mister.
What the?
Just hold it.
Masked. Why, you...
Better not.
I'll get...
You'll die if you complete that draw, mister.
Where's my boy?
Don't worry none. He's safe enough.
Where is he?
Sorry, that's something I don't aim to tell you. But he won't get hurt.
Who are you? What do you want?
Listen, mister. You talk soft or you'll be bringing your wife here. I ain't never shot at women folks before.
Well, that's my boy. I've got to get him back.
How bad you want him back?
What?
Bad enough to pay for it?
So that's your game.
I'll put it straight to you, mister. Get $30,000 in cash together and your boy comes back. If you don't, well, I reckon you will, all right.
Oh, dirty.
Easy.
I ain't got 30,000. I ain't got 5,000.
Well, that's up to you.
And I wouldn't let you get away with a rotten scheme like this if I did have.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple hours to think it over.
What?
Sure. Talk it over with your wife. I'll be back.
Come back and I'll blow your head off.
Maybe.
Take that mask off. Let me get a look at you.
I reckon the mask will stay where it is, mister. You've heard of me, though, and you should have heard that when I set out to do a thing, I ain't to be stopped.
Who are you?
Here, boy. Recognize my horse, mister?
It's White.
How are you, Silver, old fella?
Silver. Who was that rode off with Tommy?
I call him Tonto.
Can't be. The Lone Ranger. But the Lone Ranger ain't no crook.
Yeah, that's just it. You tell the law it was the Lone Ranger took your kid, and they'll think you're crazy.
But
Mister, I've had some raw deals lately, and now I'm out to get mine. It'll be a long time before anybody will believe the Lone Ranger's turned crooked, and by the time it's found out, I'll be fixed for life.
Preying on folks that trusted you.
Maybe it'll be a lesson they're needing.
You're worse than a fellow that's always been crooked. Just like a dog that turns killer is worse than a wolf.
Well, like I said, I'll be back for an answer in a couple hours. 30,000, mister, and you better make up your mind to pay it.
I gave you my answer before.
Yeah?
And I'll be ready for you next time. I'll blow you clean to blazes.
You ain't got the nerve to try it. Get up, boy. Get up. Come on, now, boy. Get up.
Less than 2 hours later, Tonto and the Lone Ranger rode toward the Powers ranch house, and...
We'll ask about them at this place, Tonto. They don't seem to be hiding their trail. At first I was sure they knew we were following. Now I'm beginning to wonder.
Them travel a long way.
A good many miles in the last week. They might be heading for Texas.
That heap far.
They've been traveling in that direction. And did you know that Jim is the son of old Jason Courtney?
And that feller got big ranch?
The same. The Courtney Ranch is one of the largest, most famous in the entire West.
Me hear plenty about that place.
Jason's a fine old character. Blake, his youngest son, takes after him. With a heritage like that, it's hard to understand why Jim went bad. Well, at least we know that Jim is planning something crooked. So as long as we keep close to him and Pike, we're bound to learn what their scheme is in time.
Here, House.
Ho, Silver, ho.
Scout, ho.
I told you I'd be waiting. Take this, you skunk.
Come on,
Get
Silver.
him up, Scout.
Into this grove ahead, Tonto.
Get him up, Scout.
Just as soon as these trees hide us, jump from your saddle. I'll circle back and keep that fellow's attention. Get behind him without being seen. Shout when you have him.
How to do that?
We're going to find out what's wrong here. Now, Tonto. Easy, Silver. Easy.
Get him.
All right, Silver. Head back, old boy. Come on, Scout. Follow along. Put down those guns, stranger. Oh, Silver. Oh, boy.
Not the redskin, huh? Come and shoot and you'll get the same.
You made a mistake.
You done that.
Put down those guns and we'll talk this over.
6-gun lead will do the talking for me.
Tonto got him. Good work, Tonto. Come on, Silver. Hold on to him, Kimosabe.
Him not get away.
Oh, Silver. Oh, boy. Hold there. Got his guns, Tonto.
Let my husband go.
Blast you.
Hold on. What's this all about?
You bring back my boy, you hear me? You bring him back or I'll hunt you down even if it takes me all the rest of my life.
Who do you think that I am?
You're the Lone Ranger.
The renegade skunk.
Don't be a fool, man. Talk sense.
I'll get you. By heavens, I'll get you.
Why? I've never seen you before.
What? Why, you snake?
It ain't been 2 hours since you was here.
Jim Courtney.
Him got white horse.
Let me go, Injun. Let me out this sidewinder. Oh, if I could get my hands on him,
Someone pretended he was me. If he thinks the man is neither my height or weight, his voice isn't the same. You've been tricked.
I saw him.
Use your eyes and your common sense.
You said you'd be back in a couple of hours.
The man who tricked you knew I was about 2 hours behind him. He prepared this trap, and you did exactly as he wanted you to do.
You rotten crook. $30,000. You know we ain't got that much cash. If you don't bring back my son...
Wait, Bess.
But he...
No, hold on. Yes, there has been a mistake.
A mistake?
Come to think of it, they ain't the same size. Don't talk the same either.
Perhaps now you'll be willing to explain.
Stranger, don't blame me for this. Our young'un was took by a fellow wearing a mask and riding a white horse. I've been half crazy.
I see.
He said we had to pay up to get Tommy back.
I'm almost positive I know who took your son. But your wife mentioned $30,000. Are you sure that's what he asked?
That's just what he asked.
And I doubt that he wanted your money. If he did, he could have chosen a more likely victim without having traveled so far.
But that's even worse. Now I don't know what to do.
Come, Tonto. Don't worry. The men who have your son are not killers. We'll stay on their trail and return your son safely.
Stranger, you and the Injun will have a mother's blessing all your life.
And my guns to fight for you.
You'll hear from us.
Get him up, Scout.
That same night, some miles distant in a canyon that concealed the glow of their fire, 2 men stood over a frightened boy.
Kid, you got what I told you straight?
Yes, sir.
You gonna forget anything when we get there?
I won't. Honest, I won't.
Kid, if you do, you know what's going to happen to your folks, don't you?
I'll do like you say.
Good. But just recollect this. Try to get away. Try to tell anybody who you really are. Make just one slip that'd spoil our game, and the fellas we left behind to watch your folks will go ahead like they've been told.
And getting me and Jim jailed won't save 'em. You keep that in mind.
Yes, sir.
All right, climb into your blankets. We got plenty of riding ahead of us, and you got plenty to learn on the way. Like you turn in, too. I'll stand the first watch.
Old Jason Courtney had arrived in Texas as a young man, and now in his 70s commanded a range empire. He counted his cattle not by the hundreds, but by the thousands, estimated his land not by the acre, but by the square mile. Now, however, and for several months past, his health was failing. We see him seated in a huge chair, a blanket across his lap, a sturdy stick in his hand, and...
Roof! Where in tarnation are you, Roof? Roof! Lazy, good for nothing. I'll skin him alive. Roof! By thunder, if you don't get a move on...
What's the matter, Paul?
Oh, it's you, eh? Blast your hot-out Roof and tell that fellow if he don't bring me my medicine pronto, I'll tan his hide and nail it to the wall.
Shucks, you're getting head up for nothing. He's coming now.
It took him long enough. Where you been?
Shucks, boss. Doc says you wasn't to take this stuff for an hour or so after yet.
What does he know? What do you know about it? Give it here.
Sure, boss.
Rotten tasting stuff. Always feel worse after taking it than I do before. Well, what do you stand there for? You got work to do, ain't you?
I got plenty to do.
Hey, where do you think you're going? Come back here.
But you just said...
Don't tell me what I said. When you do a thing, do it right. Wait till I finish this blasted poison here and take the glass bag with you.
Someone at the front door, Pa.
Let's see who it is. If it's William stopping in for a drink, tell him he can have his belly full of it. If he's back to ask again for the use of that east water hole, tell him I'll ventilate his hide with bullet holes like they was polka dots the first time one of his critters drinks from it. Go on.
Ain't likely to be Williams this time of night.
Look at him. Look at him, Roof. A son of mine, full grown, and no wife and kids, and no likelihood of having any while I'm here to see 'em.
Don't reckon Blake ever will get himself hitched, boss.
That ain't right. I worked all my life to build this place up. Got a ranch to be proud of. Got a home and land and cattle. Got a place where the Coatneys could live good for 100 years after I'm gone. And for all I know, after I'm gone and Blake's gone, there won't be no more Coatneys.
There's Jim.
Jim? Ain't heard from him in years now. Likely dead by this time. Likely somebody shot him. Alls was one for getting in scrapes.
For all you know, boss, maybe he settled down and raised a family.
If he had, I'd leave the ranch to him. Yes, I would. Lock, stock, and barrel. Everything I owned. Roof, I aim to be the start of something big. I aim to be the first Courtney to settle in Texas and to have Courtneys after me that'd grow with the finest country ever was made. Just look what's come of it. Aim to be the first, and I'm likely to be just about the last. One of these days, I'm gonna...
Hey, Paul, just look who's here.
You tell Williams he can go plumb... Jim.
Howdy, Pa.
You. Jim, I'd give you up for dead.
Well, don't look it, do I?
But say, who's this young'un here?
Billy, meet your grandpa.
Hello, Grandpa.
This husky, rip snorter here is my grandson.
In the flesh.
A grandson. Well, don't stand there, gawking. Shed your coats. Sit down. Do something. Say something. Blake, go fetch more chairs. Roof, get the blazes out of here. Sing Lee. Somebody go out to the cookhouse and tell that Chinese rascal to whip up a feast fit for a king. We're going to celebrate and...
Paul. What's wrong, Paul?
You'd better fetch the doc, Blake.
Your pa's had a stroke.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. Old Jason, overcome by the excitement of his elder son's return home, was stricken by a heart attack, from which he rallied only feebly upon the doctor's arrival. His one thought, when he saw the end was near, was to make a will in favor of Jim. Blake was sent to town to summon a lawyer, and as the young man spurred his mount over the trail, he...
Get along, boy. Get up. Get up. Get along, boy.
Blake! Out, Blake!
What?
Hold up!
Oh, hold there. Hold, boy. Outlaws.
Don't flap leather, Blake. This isn't a hold-up. Hold, Silver. Hold, boy. Let's go.
What do you want?
Information. Where's your brother?
At the ranch with his boy. Now I gotta
Did
get out
you
of...
say with his boy?
Yes, I did. Now let me by. I gotta make time.
Your brother has no son.
There ain't no time to waste. What was that you said?
3 weeks ago, he was released from jail. 2 weeks ago, he stole young Tommy Powers from his family.
You're crazy.
I can prove I'm speaking the truth.
But the boy's name is Billy. He's told us all about his ma and how she's dead now and about the place where him and my brother live up north.
The boy told you those things?
He did?
Wait. Where's that picture you got from Mrs. Powers, Tonto?
Oh, here. Here, your picture.
Look at it. Is that the boy your brother introduced as his son?
I see. That's the same identical one.
Blake, I've been on your brother's trail. Tonto and I have promised to return the boy to his parents. Once through a trick, we were shot at and might have been killed. Later, we lost time when we found they traded horses and we'd been following the wrong men.
But why would the kid say them things if it wasn't so?
Jim has probably frightened Tommy some way until he doesn't dare tell the truth.
Well, I'll be... So that's the skunk's game.
What's that?
You know my pa, Jason Courtney?
I know of him, yes.
You'd have to know him to savvy it, but all his life he's wanted grandchildren. The point is, Jim come here to profit by that. He must have heard about Pa being ailing, and he knowed if he showed up with a young'un, Pa'd leave him the ranch.
Yes?
Well, last night, Pa had a stroke.
I'm sorry.
The doc don't expect him to last for another 48 hours.
I believe I understand what you're driving at.
Stranger, maybe I'm a fool. I don't know. But for years, for almost as long as I can recollect, Pa's talked about grandchildren. Well, now he thinks he's got one. Maybe he'll last the day out, and maybe he won't. But even if it means I got to lose the place to Jim, do you think for 1 minute I could go back there and tell him that Jim's a crook and the young'un's no blood kin at all?
I do understand.
You'd savvy even better if you'd seen the look on Pa's face when he first seen that boy.
In other words, you face a choice. Either you save the ranch for yourself and sadden your father when he's dying, or permit him to believe he really has a grandchild and lose what's rightfully yours.
That's what it boils down to, I guess.
Where were you headed?
Oh, golly, it clean slipped my mind. I got to get a lawyer to draw up Pa's will.
Who is your father's lawyer?
A fella named Jepson.
Jepson, huh? Look, Blake, you ride on home and stay with your father. Tonto and I'll get the lawyer.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Don't worry. We'll take care of it for you.
Stranger, somehow I feel I can trust you. All right, then, I'll hurry back to Pa. He'll be needing me. Get up, boy. Get along with it. Get up.
He good feller.
A man who'd make a sacrifice like that, Kimosabe, deserves better luck.
Ah.
And we'll see that he gets it. Now for lawyer Jepson. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
It was evening. The will had been drawn up, signed by old Jason and witnessed by two of the hands. Now, while young Tommy Powers watched them nervously, Jim and his friend Pike discussed their prospects.
Jim, things went as slick as if they was greased.
Yeah.
You said you had a buyer lined up for the place, Jim?
Right.
Cash?
Cash on the line just as soon as the ranch is mine. And then we skip.
Yeah, but you can't sell till Jason's gone.
Yeah, there won't be much time to wait.
Well, anyhow.
Hold it.
Huh?
Blake. Evening, Blake. Want something?
He wants you, Billy, to come to his room.
Sure, glad to. Come along, son.
Uh-huh.
Blake,
Yeah?
before we go in there, well, about the will and all, Pa leaving the place to me, I hope you ain't feeling sore about it.
What I feel don't matter. Come on.
Now, Blake, you're acting like maybe you didn't think
Forget
that
We ain't going to argue in front of Paul. He's getting mighty low. Go on in. You too, son.
Come in. Come in.
You're looking swell, Pa.
Don't try to fool an old man, son. I ain't afraid of what's ahead of me. Here, stand over here just a mite closer so as I can see the three of you. There, now, that's better. My eyes ain't so good no more, you know. Been a bit worse today. Things look kind of hazy-like. But all things wear out in time, I reckon.
You wanted to say something to us, Paul?
Yeah, I had some things to say. You see, boys, it's time for me to move aside and make room for younger folks. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, really. You, Blake.
Yeah, Paul?
You've been a good son to me. Mighty good son. Put up with a lot of things I done that wasn't just right. Never minded it, and when I flew off the handle at you, had sense enough to know when I got mad at you, it was 'cause I loved you. Maybe once in a while because my rheumatics was acting up a bit. Well, anyhow, I think you savvy why it was I give everything to Jim.
Sure. It is because you wanted to keep the ranch together.
That's right, son. I knew I could depend on you to understand. Jim.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you now to carry on, and after you, Billy there. Before I go, I'd like to give you the right slant on things.
Of course.
Remember, son, when you're running things here, it ain't you that's important. It's the ranch. The Courtney Ranch. And when it comes to that, it ain't the ranch neither that's so important. It's Texas, your state. I want to think that when I'm yonder riding herd on mavericks and in them there celestial pastures the sky pilot's always talking of, only without a gun belt on, I reckon, that you'll be here worrying more about doing right yourself than being done right by. Billy. Billy, get a little closer, can you?
Yes, Grandpa.
Stand up there and let me look at you. Uh-huh. Good forehead. Good eyes, good wide shoulders. Billy, when the time comes for it, you'll be able to do a man's work, all right. Jim, you and the young'un have made me mighty happy. Mighty happy. A grandson. The Courtneys keeping the ranch going.
Gosh, Blake, Pa's gone to sleep.
Sleep? No. Though that ain't a bad name for it, I reckon.
You mean?
Stand aside. Let me cover his face.
The following morning,
Blake! Master, come here. Where are you, Blake?
Hey, now, what's the fuss about, Jim?
Jim, what's up?
I've been tricked.
Huh?
Yeah, how?
How? You know blame well how you done this. I don't know how you done it, but by thunder you did.
Did what?
Look at this will. Read it. Go on, read it. Mike,
Yeah?
get that kid. Bring him here. He must have talked.
Talk? What do you mean?
Shut up and get him.
All right, all right.
Well, I've read it, Jim.
Pa said he was leaving the range to me. And that there will says it's left to you.
So I see.
I've been cheated out of what was rightly coming to me.
You were cheated.
Wasn't I? You heard what Pa said. You heard him say what he wanted done with the ranch.
Because you fooled him into thinking you was married and was the father of a boy.
Well,
I've known the whole filthy, rotten scheme since early yesterday. And if it hadn't been for Pa, I'd have told him about it then.
Then you done this.
I didn't.
You must have.
I don't even know how it was done. Until I read it just now, I didn't know it was writ that way. All I know is...
Go on, finish it.
Well, it won't hurt to tell it now, I reckon. I was going to say that all I know is a redskin came to me when I got back from town yesterday and said not to be surprised if a different lawyer came than the one I was supposed to get.
The lawyer. The lawyer done it. Now they'll find that fella.
I found him.
The Lone Ranger.
The man you tried to kill, Jim. The man who trailed you here. The man you thought yesterday was a lawyer.
You was disguised.
And I saw justice done. I wrote that will one way and read it aloud another.
Why,
Finish
you-
that draw. If ever a man deserves 6-gun lead, it's you.
Oh, no,
Here's the kid, Jim.
Twist my
He
hair.
was the Lone Ranger.
Drop Tommy, Tom.
Gee, you know my name.
I know the whole thing, Tommy. And I'm taking you back to your parents. These fellas are going to jail.
No, mister, no. Mike and Jim got fellas ready to hurt Ma and Pa if they go to jail.
That's what you told this boy.
Now,
No,
wait, wait.
we didn't mean nothing by it. We
Blake, I'm turning them over to you. Can you handle them until the law arrives?
Can I? Just look yonder. Roof's got 'em covered right now.
And I just wish one of them would make a move, so's I'd have reason for giving them what all sidewinders got coming.
Come along, Tommy. Blake, tell the sheriff the charges, and after Tommy's return, witnesses will come to back them up.
But, stranger, hold on. I ain't had the chance to thank you. Wait.
You heard what this polecat said, didn't you?
Huh?
Said that was the Lone Ranger. And if you think he's going to wait to be thanked, then you've gone loco.
Come on, Silver, old boy! There's Indian trouble at Western Flats! Hi-yo, Silver! Away! The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.